Many of us are old enough to remember the 9/11 attacks in 2001, and I'm sure all of us remember the Boston Marathon bombings in 2013. Large-scale domestic terrorist incidents impact the way we think about our country. However, many of these large-scale incidents occur a significant distance from where we live and work. Maybe we only hear about them on the news or know someone who was affected by them. This is not to say that some of us have not experienced these incidents firsthand or don't have an emotional connection, but most of us can say we are relatively removed geographically from where they occurred. But what about domestic terrorist incidents in the city of Mobile, or New Orleans, or Atlanta? Would it feel a little too close to home if you found out that an attack occurred within a couple hundred miles of where you live, where you walk your dog, where you buy your groceries? It may be easy to look at an incident that occurs in a major city such as New York and assume that only massive infrastructure in giant cities are targeted, but that is simply not the case. Smaller areas in the South have also been the victim of terrorist incidents. When I looked at where these occurred, I began to ask, why here? Why this neighborhood? I began by examining census data at the county level to try to understand if certain areas were being targeted over others. I decided to look at income specifically to determine if there is a correlation between low-income counties and where domestic terrorist incidents occur. Now, of course, I am not insinuating that low-income areas cause terrorism. My goal is to determine if maybe areas that are considered underprivileged could be at a higher risk for domestic acts of terror. For my study area, I chose the 6 states which border the Gulf of Mexico, where we call our home, to see if there is indeed a correlation between low income and domestic terror. At this point, we may be asking ourselves what exactly terrorism is, since I have mentioned it a lot. According to the FBI, terrorism is defined in the Code of Federal Regulations 28, Section .85, as the unlawful use of force and violence against persons or property to intimidate or coerce for political or social objectives. The Global Terrorism Database is an online data house which stores all known successful terrorist incidents across the world between 1970 and 2020. Everything I need to complete my GIS analysis is found here and on ArcGIS Online, an open source map program provided by Esri. From these incidents, I extracted only those which occurred in either Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida between the years of 2000 and 2018. I then took data from the 2010 U.S. Census Bureau to parse out which counties in each of these states could be considered low income or having a median household income of $30,000 or less. Now, while I am still completing my research, it is my hope to determine if there is indeed a correlation between low-income areas and domestic terror. Understanding this can help citizens in high-risk areas be better prepared and help them receive the proper aid and training they need.